Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Premier League review show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie, and I'm your host for today's show. The midweek fixtures in Matchweek 14 have been wrapped up. Liverpool surprisingly dropped points against Newcastle. Arsenal beat Manchester United 2-0, and Chelsea demolished Southampton to climb up the table in second place. So the big question regarding Chelsea is, are they genuine title contenders? We'll discuss this very shortly in the show. So let's begin with the first match review, and that is Liverpool, or should I say Newcastle versus Liverpool. Now, as a Liverpool fan, I'm very disappointed in how we performed in this fixture. We were so poor in the first half. It was unbelievable. We lacked energy, drive, and urgency in our play. We were so lackluster in every department of our game. Newcastle, on the other hand, was super aggressive with the pressing up top, and they won pretty much every battle across the pitch, especially in the middle of the park. And for me, that was the difference between both teams. Isak opened the scoreline with an absolute screamer. What a strike from the Swedish striker. Liverpool's number one target for next summer. That's me dreaming right now, but it has to be the case. Then in the second half, Liverpool got the equaliser. Lovely pass from Mohamed Salah, who hit the ball with the outside of his foot. Curtis Jones is driving inside the box and smashes it into the roof of the net. Great finish from the midfielder. Newcastle then take the lead as Anthony Gordon is through on goal. Joe Gomez shows him way too much space that allows Gordon to cut in and place the shot towards goal. Kelleher gets a hand onto the ball, but unfortunately isn't able to parry the ball away. For me, he should have done a lot better and in fact saved the shot in my opinion. Salah then gets the equaliser with a fantastic right-footed strike towards the far post, and then Salah then gets his second goal after Trent Alexander-Arnold squares the ball into the middle of the box. Salah turns, swivels, and hits a first-time shot to give Liverpool the lead at 3-2. Great goal from Mohamed Salah, but what an impact from Trent Alexander-Arnold, who literally came onto the pitch for about 5 minutes and provided 2 quick assists. Then the killer blow came towards the latter minutes of the game as Bruno Guimaraes whips in a cross towards the far post. It looked like Keller was ready to leap and catch the ball as a normal routine, but for some reason he decided to leave the ball, and that ball did not cross the line or go out of play. Fabian Schär slides in and applies a fantastic finish from a very tight angle to equalize and take a point for the home team. Now, for me, this one felt like a loss, and I have to be blunt. Kelleher cost us the 3 points there. Yes, the keeper made a mistake, but it was a huge mistake at that time of the game. And it's something you don't really see at Premier League level. Normally, when a ball is either whipped in from a free kick or a corner, if it's going over your head, then you kind of know to leave it. This was being whipped across goal, so there was no way to suggest that the ball was going to go out of play. So I was quite disappointed with Kelleher's misjudgment there. But look, don't get me wrong, I still rate Kelleher as a good goalkeeper, but that was a shocking moment. Now, I really hope that mistake doesn't hamper Liverpool's title search at the end of the season. But I'll take my Liverpool out for a second. I have to give credit to the opposition. Newcastle were fantastic in this game. What performance from Eddie Howe and his boys. They were relentless in the game. They were more aggressive from the front. And defensively, they were very strong as a unit. But look, these things happen. Does it affect Liverpool's title challenge for the season? I don't think it does. Slight overreaction online from certain corners of the Liverpool fan base who have pretty much showed their annoyance and have claimed that this could ruin our search for another league title this season. Look, we have to take positive. It's a draw. It's not a loss. I know it feels like it, but we're still getting the point. Remember, Arsenal lost to Newcastle in the same fixture at St. James's Park in Matchweek 10. So it's not an easy place to get all 3 points. Before the game, I would have taken the draw. But for me, it was just the manner and how he conceded that last goal really hurts. It was a howler from Kelleher. But look, I'm not going to speak too negatively of the keeper. He's been fantastic for us whenever called upon, and mistakes will happen in this stage of the season. But for Liverpool's sake, we need to make sure that we make it right this weekend. In fact, it's pretty much later on today, as where I am, it's past midnight, and starting at Goodison Park, as we face Everton this Saturday at 12:30 p.m. kickoff. So another midday kickoff. Yes, and it's the last Merseyside derby as well. So we'll definitely have some value going into this fixture. Now, on to the next game. Man City versus Nottingham Forest. Man City get back to winning ways as they defeat Forest 3-0 at the Etihad. Bernardo Silva scores the opening goal as he scores a tap-in from Kevin De Bruyne's attempted header on goal. But then Kevin De Bruyne gets on the score sheet himself. Great run by Doku on the left-hand side. He cuts in and hits a through ball to Kevin De Bruyne and smashes it into the back of the net to make it 2-0. Then Doku gets involved and adds the third goal of the game as he goes on a mazy run on the left-hand side, cuts in and smashes it low into the corner to make it 3-0 and eventually help Man City win their first game since the 26th of October, and that was against Southampton. So it's been a long wait for City to claim the 3 points. Could this be a turn leaf for the citizens? I think it will be. But whether the gap is too high to surpass Liverpool at this stage of the season remains to be seen. But there are still a lot of games to be played, and things can change at the top, as we can already tell from this midweek fixture alone. On to the next fixture. Years back, this would have been regarded as a heavyweight tie. Not the case nowadays, unfortunately. But Mikel Pulis has done it again as Arsenal defeat Manchester United 2-0 on a cold Wednesday night in North London. So let's discuss the key moments of the game. Arsenal opened the scoreline with a set piece as Declan Rice whips the ball in a congested 6-yard box, and Timber manages to nod the ball towards goal and hit the back of the net to give the Gunners the lead. Saliba grabs the second goal as Saka whips in a fantastic ball from a corner kick. Saliba hits the target from a tight angle. It ends up hitting a United player, then rolls into the back of the net. Arsenal look like a prime Stoke City in this fixture. So shout out to their set piece coach, Nicolas Jova, who's helped instill another form of weaponry in this Arsenal team. Unfortunately, Ruben Amorim suffers his first defeat as Manchester United manager, but the United fans still have faith that Amorim is him, even though they've now dropped to 13th in the league. And despite the win, Arsenal have actually dropped to third place as there's a new team that are ready to knock on Liverpool's door, and that is Chelsea, who in fact had a fantastic win this midweek as they annihilated Southampton 5-1. So let's go through the goals. Disasi scores a header from a corner kick to give the Blues the lead. Southampton then equalise through a close range finish from Aribo. Then minutes later, Nkuku makes it 2-1, scoring an open goal from the edge of the box. Poor defending from Southampton in that moment there. Madueke then makes it 3-1 with a clinical finish from the right side of the box. Stevens, who's a dirty defender, especially after watching some of his antics against Liverpool a couple of weeks ago, gets a straight red card for pulling Cucurella's hair and then dropping him to ground. Cole Palmer nicks a goal from Nkuku's shot to make it 4-1, and Sancho smashes it low into the corner of the goal to make it 5-1, and he actually also scores his first goal in Chelsea colours. So a fantastic victory for Chelsea. Big question is, are Chelsea title contenders or challengers this season? I think they are. They should be regarded as dark horses, in my opinion, as they do have a lot of squad depth and can certainly challenge the teams up top. But feel free to let me know in the comment what you think. And do you feel like Chelsea are potential title contenders this season? Next fixture. Bournemouth versus Tottenham, which ended 1-0. Another Spursy moment from Tottenham, who have produced some great results in recent weeks, especially that huge win against Man City, which ended 4-0. Fortunately, this time round, they have dropped points against Bournemouth, who have made the Vitality Stadium into a fortress this season. The only goal of the game came in the 17th minute as Tavernier whips in a fantastic cross and Hoyson heads it across goal to give the Cherries the lead. Bournemouth produced some decent chances in the second half to extend the lead, but unfortunately they weren't clinical enough to add more goals to the tally. But it doesn't matter. They managed to notch up another impressive home win. Spurs have now dropped to 10th in the league. I kid you not, that's not a mistake from my part. They are 10th in the league. It wasn't that long ago that we were talking about Spurs being possible top 4 contenders. Nah, if Spurs need to reclaim those sort of positions once again, they need to fix up and they need to do it sharply. Some of the Spurs fans in the crowd voiced their distress to Ange Postecoglou, shouting, "Pos got no clue." Bit harsh, but for me, funny at the same time as well. Now, in other games, huge win here for Everton as they defeated Wolves 4-0. Definitely a surprising result. Ashley Young opens the score sheet with a free kick. Mangala scores a long range shot to make it 2-0. And then Craig Dawson had an evening that he'd want to forget very quickly as he produced 2 own goals to make that victory appear more handsomely than it should be. But that win has helped Everton distance themselves from the relegation zones as they are now 15th in the league. That win could also give the Toffees a huge boost going into their next fixture against Liverpool in the last Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. Now on to the next fixture. Leicester City versus West Ham. What a win for the Foxes. Ruud van Nistelrooy claims his first win as Leicester manager at home against West Ham, which ended 3-1. Jamie Vardy opens the scoreline in the first couple of minutes with a clean finish in the bottom corner. Al Khanous makes it 2-0 with a sliding finish. Patson Daka showcases his blistering speed by hitting West Ham on the counter-attack and smashes in a left-foot strike to make it 3-0. And then West Ham get the consolation goal through a Fulkrug header. But that was a game to forget for West Ham as Lopetegui's future at the club appears to be numbered. And if rumours are to believe, he could be facing the sack very, very soon. Next fixture. Aston Villa versus Brentford. Villa finally get a win on the board after a winless run of games and they defeat Brentford 3-1. Rodgers opens the scoreline with a lovely curled effort right in the corner to give Villa the lead. Then unfortunately Pinnock fouls Ollie Watkins in the box to give a penalty away. Watkins steps up and just about sneaks his shot into the goal as Flecken got a strong hand on the ball, and was unable to parry it away. Matty Cash finds himself on the score sheet after he scores a half volley from a very tight angle. Then Damsgaard, gets a consolation goal from Brentford with a nice finish, smashing the roof of the net. Next fixture. And this was definitely a surprise result for me, as Brighton have been in scintillating form in recent weeks, but Fulham got the last laugh as they were victorious with a 3-1 win. Verbruggen gave Alex Iwobi an early Christmas present as he gives the ball away and Iwobi slots it into the goal to make it 1-0. Baliba makes it 1-1 for Brighton after producing a long shot finish to hit the back of the net. Fulham regained the lead after the ball hits O'Reilly and rolls into the goal from a corner kick. Iwobi then secures the victory for Fulham after he hits a cold effort into the bottom corner to make it 3-1. Fulham now climb up the table and are 6th in the league. Marco Silva is going under the radar for me as I believe he's doing a fantastic job at Fulham. And the final fixture of our Match 14 review, and the Eagles finally secured their first away win of the season. The winning goal came around the 59th minute as Eze hits a through ball towards Mateta, who skips past Greaves, goes through on goal, and applies a lovely dinked finish to open the scoreline, but also close the match. And that is the end of our week 14 review. Time to announce our FPL Manager of the Week. But funny enough, we have two joint FPL managers who have got the same points tally, and they are Ashioki Ashioma, and his team is Ashioki FC, and David Delaney, and his team is called Liverpool, and they both managed to attain 96 points. So well done to Oshioko and David for your points tally this week. Very high, if I'm being honest. There weren't that many total scores close to 96. So well done to you guys. In terms of your league standings, I believe David has now moved up to 16th place in the league, whilst Ashioke has moved up to 77th place. Now, in terms of my performance, I did slightly better than last week. I managed to get 64 points and have now moved up the table to 65th position. So, taking my time, I'm taking baby steps at the minute. So let's have a look at the top 10 and see if there's been any movers and shakers up top. So here we go. So looks like there's no change at the top. Melissa Morris remains at number 1 spot. Her team is called the Normal One. Vipin Mohan remains in second place as well. Jake Harrison moves up to third position. Tayo Aziz remains in fourth. Godwin also remains in fifth. Maya Tonison has dropped to sixth place in the league. Pasuran Mania has moved up to seventh. Ellie Clark has moved up to eighth. I think that's a new name in the top 10, so big up yourself, Ellie. Chris Barnett has dropped to ninth. And Daniel Afale Domina, also on a double D, big up yourself, has gained 65 points and remains in 10th place. So that is the top 10. And yeah, before we close the show, we will review the matches in Matchweek 15, which is literally taking place in a matter of hours, with Liverpool and Everton being the first fixture. So what I'll do, I'll present the fixture list and I will give you my predictions of what I expect to unfold in this match week. So here we go. So we've got the game I've been talking about, Everton versus Liverpool. If you haven't caught my match preview, I did one yesterday, so feel free to go through the channel and go through. Or I might actually add a link after the show, so feel free to review that match preview there. In terms of my score prediction for this one, Liverpool aren't in great form. Everton just won 4-0, so their spirits are very high within their camp. I'm still going for a win for the Reds. It's going to be a very tightly contested fixture. It's got a slight emotion to it as it's the last one at Goodison Park. So the Everton team and the fans will definitely be up for it. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory for Liverpool. Aston Villa and Southampton. Aston Villa finally managed to get a win on the board after a winless run of games in recent weeks. Southampton, let's be frank, have been abysmal in recent weeks, conceding a lot of goals. And it's not just as a defensive team, they're struggling. It's more so, well, they're not actually a defensive team. They're a very attack-minded team, and that is a downfall as well. But they're making a lot of individual errors. It's coming through their goalkeeper and the centre-back. So there's something they really need to resolve if they have any glimmer of chance of staying up in this table. At this stage, it looks very unlikely, but things can change over the course of the next few months. Now, in terms of this fixture here, I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory for Aston Villa. Brentford versus Newcastle. This will be an interesting game. I can see goals in this one, so I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw at the GTEC Community Stadium. Crystal Palace versus Man City. Now, Crystal Palace haven't been in the best of form this season, but this is definitely regarded as a bogey ground for Man City. Can Crystal Palace get all 3 points at home? I'm not sure if they will. However, I can see points being dropped here just because of the history of this fixture and where it's taking place. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest. On paper, you'd probably give it to Nottingham Forest because they've been in better form in recent weeks. Amram is still trying to find that winning formula. And let's be honest, it's going to take him a while to figure that out. But he's still trying to do enough to get some points on the board. I'm going to go for an away win. I'm going for a 2-1 victory for Forest. I just feel like they're in better form right now. Fulham versus Arsenal. This is not an easy fixture. Fulham have just beaten Brighton. They're on a high right now. They're currently 6th in the league. Arsenal, of course, they've just picked up a couple of points in recent weeks as well. They've got a few old boys as well. They've got Iwobi, Emil Smith-Rowe. They've got Reece Nelson, Alex Iwobi. So they've got a few old gunners in their team, and they might want to show up in this game. So I'm not just saying because Liverpool fan, I can see this being a draw. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I feel like this game is going to have lots of goals, but I don't think there'll be a clear winner. But that's just my prediction. Let's see how well I do and if I get it right next week. Ipswich Town versus Bournemouth. I'd probably give this one to Bournemouth. I think they'll just nick this one. So I'm going to present a 2-1 victory for the Cherries. Leicester versus Brighton. This is a good game, to be fair. Van Nistelrooy's second game as manager. He got the win, of course, against West Ham in this match week. Brighton just coming from a defeat, but are they able to bounce back? I think that new manager bounce will continue for Leicester. I think they'll get the win. So it's going to be a 2-1 victory for the Foxes. Now, a big game on paper, but it's always the same question. Which team is going to turn up? And I'm speaking about Tottenham. So I have no idea how to put this one. Chelsea have been in great form, and I feel like they are just finding their gears right now. But Spurs always seem to ruin the party when it comes to these sort of fixtures. They'll have abysmal results against teams that they expect to be beating, but against the top teams, they just manage to cook something up. Can they do it in this fixture? Call me crazy, but I'm predicting that. I'm actually going for a 1-0 win for Spurs. So, yeah, let's see what happens with regards to that one. And the final fixture, West Ham versus Wolves. I'm surprised Lopetegui hasn't been sacked, to be fair. There were strong rumours that he was facing a sack, but from what I'm aware, it's not been made official. So he's treading on thin ice right now. Is he able to notch up a home win against Wolves, who, to be fair, have been playing some decent football in recent weeks, but haven't got the points on the board? I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I don't see there being a clear winner for this fixture. Will that save Lopetegui's job? I don't think so. I think they're probably doing some negotiations or some discussions behind the scenes, trying to line up their next manager, and then you'll probably hear Lopetegui get a sack in the coming weeks. But that's just my prediction there. So yeah, so that is my match 15 prediction. Just got a comment here from Daz who says, "Big up Ozzie, do you think the game will go ahead tomorrow?" I hope so. I know there's some sort of concerns with regards to weather and all that sort of stuff, but I don't think there should be an issue. I was watching the press conference with Arnold Slot, and the report mentioned that there's going to be 65 miles per hour wind blowing around Goodison Park. It shouldn't be an issue, but I'm sure we'll find out in the course of the early hours, over midnight now. So we'll probably find out when we wake up and see what is happening. But I'm sure it'll take place. So I don't really have too many concerns with regards to that. So that is the end of my match week 13 predictions. I can see we've got a caller in the back, so I'm going to bring him on the show. And it is, let me bring him on, Anfield Uncle Rods. How you doing,
What's going
bro?
on, G?
I'm good. How are you?
I can't complain, man. I can't complain. Just coming to say hi and see how you are, bro. You know what I
All
mean?
good. All good. I've been in better spirits in regards to recent results for Liverpool, but I'm not gonna lie, feel like that draw felt like a loss to me. It's just probably the manner in terms of how we lost, in terms of the howler, as I want to describe it, from Kelleher. But
Mm.
do you feel like there's been a bit of an overreaction within our own fan base? Because when you go online, you're seeing, all sorts. I'm seeing fans point at certain players in terms of, you know, them being to blame for missing chances and all that sort of stuff. What's your overview of what took place between Newcastle and Liverpool?
I think we started off. We didn't start off the best.
No.
We didn't start off the best. I think we allowed Newcastle to dictate the game to us,
Yeah.
which we should have been dictating the game to them. But sort of like when you look at sort of like the Southampton game, and I was having this conversation with Solo P1 and
Yeah.
Toto, and I was saying to him, look, when you looked at the Southampton game, that's why we know that we need a six, and it was the same at the day for this
Yeah.
game. Do you know what I mean? It was the same that we needed a six. Do you know what I mean? Because if you look back at previous managers, even when if you look at Rafa Benitez, he had the perfect midfield at one time. Do you know what I mean? You know, he
Yeah.
had Momo Sissoko, which was a destroyer. He was that guy that destroyed things in midfield,
Yeah.
right? If you got past him, you had Mascherano, which was like an original DM. He was the defensive
He was.
side of it. Do you know what I mean? Get the ball from me, play it out, or play it to Alonso.
Yeah.
Alonso was a playmaker. Do you know what I mean? He was that playmaking midfield. But then you had Lucas Leiva, which was like transformed into more of a defensive player than attacker because he was an attacker when he was with
He was. Yeah.
Gremo, something
Yeah.
like that.
Premier. Yeah.
Yeah, he was an attacker. He was a 10. But when he comes to sort of like Liverpool now, he's turned into a more defensive minded. One
Yeah.
thing about Lucas Leiva is there was two good things about Lucas Leiva. He had one, he had a good touch. Yeah, his first touch was brilliant, I thought, and he can pass the ball, right?
Yeah.
And what he used to do, he used to make it simple. He just to pass it simply. Do you know what I mean? So
Mm.
you had that combination in midfield. Now obviously you had Gerrard, which was further ahead, and he played as a 10, more like a centre forward. Do you know what I mean? So it was a perfect blend in midfield. Where you've got like Ryan Gravenberch, which don't get wrong, Ryan Gravenberch is doing a great job. I
Yeah.
rate him. He's doing a great job, and I think for him not to be a six and to come in and do that six role and to do it so well as he done, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I respect him. I respect him, yeah. But what it is, because he's not a six, he's initially doing two jobs. Do you know what I mean? Because he's an eight, you know what I mean? We know at the day that Gravenberch is an eight, he's more of a forward player. So what he's doing a six and an eight. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that what that does then, it burns you out more quicker.
Yes.
Now, the game on Wednesday, Ryan Gravenberch, he didn't look crap. I wouldn't say he was crap. I'd say he looked tired. He was tired. He was
Agreed.
literally tired and everything that. And that's hence the fact that today that like I don't know why you got a six on the bench. You know what I mean? Because my lineup for tomorrow is at the day, because of the fact that the day we haven't got McAllister. We've got McAllister tomorrow because he's suspended for one game. Yellow cards, right? My two midfield is Endo and Curtis Jones. Endo, Curtis Jones in midfield, and Sabozai further ahead because he's having a good game. Do
Mm.
you know what I mean? You got that. You got that situation at the day where we never started off well. Plus at the day, the team selection at the day for an Arnie slot was wrong. He got the team selection wrong.
Yeah.
Putting was it Kwanzaa as right back, then he's got like was it Gomez in centre back. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Then like obviously at the day, you still got the Ryan Gravenberch and the McAllister in midfield. Then you got like Jones further ahead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't think Jones should have played further ahead. I think Jones should have played in midfield.
agreed.
You know what I mean? Even if he played in midfield with McAllister, right? Played in midfield, and then you got Sabozai further ahead. Because what you noticed at the day, when he made those changes, when he finally made those changes, when he brought on Diaz, Sabozai, and Trent, do you realize? Do you saw the game changed?
Yes.
All of a sudden, at the days, Newcastle had a game in their hand now
Yeah.
because things are starting to get more fluid, and like Sabozai is making the runs. Luis Diaz was doing his things, and obviously, you know, Trent was clocking up his pass and his assists, thus making him at the day right the best assister in Premier League history. He's got 61 assists, 61, and he's a defender, so
Yeah.
he's done the record. You know what I mean? So it literally changed the game with them guys going on. I think at the day, them guys should have started. Them
Agreed.
guys should have started. I think if them guys started that game, you're looking at a different game then. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
When you look at Kwanzaa, I feel that in January, Kwanzaa should go on loan in January, send him to Blackburn or something like that, right, to get some more experience. Yeah. Then when it comes to the summer now, send him back out on loan for another season-long loan. I want him to get as much experience as he can, or even at the day, so said put him on loan to a team that's just come up from the Championship. Do you know what I mean? Give me some experience. Do you know what I mean? Because at the moment in the day, I think sometimes when you look at Kwanzaa, he looks a bit nervous on the ball and looks a bit indecisive of what he's going to do next. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's not a
So
wild shot, if I'm being honest with you, because it's quite obvious this season that Arnold doesn't really favor Kwanzaa. Obviously, remember the first game we had against Ipswich Town, he made some errors. He wasn't dominant in the air, and then that was a big, big no-no for Arnold. So he substituted him. Konate came on, and the rest is history in terms of his impact in the team. So, you know what? It might sound crazy because unfortunately, a lot of our fans have hyped Kwanzaa as the long-term successor of Van Dijk. So then when you're putting him in that kind of conversation, you're thinking he should be ready to play week in, week out. But unfortunately, he's not. I think he had a great, impact last season where we didn't really have the numbers. Unfortunately, Matip picked up a huge injury that kept him out for most of the season. So then we got to see him a little bit more. So I think he was fast-tracked a bit earlier than planned, in my opinion. So it wouldn't be a wild shot to send him out on loan, especially as I feel like Arnold Slot will probably look into acquiring a new centre back maybe next summer, January, who knows? But that is something I think is on the cards in terms of getting a new centre back in the team. Whether he's a left-footed player or right-footed is another debate. But in terms of this fixture, your analysis is spot on because this is something I mentioned in my match reaction yesterday. I was very surprised with the lineup because Kwanzaa playing right back doesn't make sense. Against Man City, I understood at the time because you had Doku who was very attack-minded, and I wouldn't say he cooked Trent, but obviously he got past him a couple of times. Then Trent, just coming back from injury, might not be fully fit to play the full 90 minutes. So he was always going to be taken off at some point in that game. And having a centre back playing on the right side to stop a flying winger, it makes tactical sense to do that. In this fixture, for me, it didn't make sense. I know Anthony Gordon is obviously a quick winger, but I just felt like the partnership with Gomez and Kwanzaa on that side of the pitch, it did not work at all. Gomez, for me, was very slow on the ball. I don't know what was going on, but he kept on delaying his passes. Like, he'd hold on to the ball, and I kid you not, I feel like time just stopped because he just wasn't releasing the ball very quickly. So I was like, what's going on with Joe Gomez? And then Kwanzaa, because he's not naturally a right back, because he's never really played right back in his career, he's too close to Joe Gomez. So he's not giving him an option to hit the ball on the right-hand side. So when you've got your centre back and your right back in a very narrow shape, you're reducing any space in that part of the pitch. And also, he's not an outlet. We've had Bradley and Trent playing right back. They're a bit more forward thinking, so it allows Joe Gomez to have a bit more space and ping balls around on that side of the pitch. That never occurred. So it just, for me, just did not work. And I was very surprised that Arsenal didn't make any change in the second half. The one thing that I was screaming about in my watch along was that bring on Endo, bring on a
Yeah,
defensive
exactly.
to just, we needed that type of player at that time. It's not always
Yeah,
about
man.
a deep playing maker to do those Hollywood passes. We needed a destroyer in that moment because they were so dominant, and that for me showcased even more. And what you alluded to earlier on, we definitely need a number 6. I know some people say Gravenberch has been sensational. He has. Don't get me wrong, but we have overworked him this season. He has been
Yeah,
playing
we have.
games.
It's
He's not rotated
so
at
to
all.
cut you. So
No,
to
go
cut
for it.
you. So to cut you. We have overworked him, Gravenberch too much. Yeah, and I think that's unfair. I think that's unfair on a young player like that. Do you know what I mean? To overwork him so much. Do you know what I mean? We're demanding too much out of him. When you've got a 6 on the bench, you've literally got a 6 on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you look at Gomez at the day, I keep on saying this, right? Time and time again, Gomez is better as a fullback. He's not a centre back. He can't do that centre back role. I'm sorry. If you see Gomez at the name, right? Yeah. When you check Gomez out, you'll find out he has his best games when he's fullback. If he's like a left back or if he's like right back, he has his best games.
In recent years, 100%. I think when he was our centre back a few years back, I think he was very strong as a centre back alongside Van Dijk. But I think over the years, I think he's really flourished playing that fullback role. I actually think if Trent or Bradley was playing alongside him, I think Gomez would have just stepped up a bit better because we saw that on the weekend against Man City.
Yeah.
But I just feel like he had an inexperienced player on the right hand side who didn't really know what he was doing, and he just. It's funny because our right side is our creative side of our pitch. Whether it's Trent, even Conor Bradley, he's really good in terms of whipping in balls in forward and even making marauding runs. We had no outlet on that right hand side. That's why Salah was isolated quite a lot up top because no one's really supporting him in that sort of halfway line position. And then we had, who was it? Jones that was playing a bit further, but he was roaming around in different parts of the pitch. He wasn't really occupying that right hand side. So
he was like a 10. He was like a 10. So he was like more going forward.
But
and
more
then
towards the left side than the right side. So there's a lot of
gaps. Because that's his favorite spot. And I think what he's also trying to do as well, what he's trying to do, and he was doing it with success as well. He's also supporting the midfield as well because Ryan Gravenberch obviously wasn't having the best of games. So he found himself dropping back into midfield, helping out midfield. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's good that you've alluded to that with this Kwanzaa thing because Kwanzaa and Salah, because when Trent come on, you notice it all changed then because he could add support to that right hand side. It all changed then. I just don't think at the end of the day, right, that was a good move.
I agree.
To put Kwanzaa on the right hand side as right back. The only reason it worked against sort of like Man City, because let's face it, it was the last 10 minutes or so? Last 10 minutes of the game and the day, you throw him on and everything like you throw the fella on. As you do anything like that, do your thing and everything like that. But to start him in that position, that was the wrong move. The reason why people have come after Keller, right? Because what it is with Keller, we've held him in a high standards. And he's made some brilliant saves in the day, right? And look, he won us a League Cup for God's sake. You know what I mean? And he's like a great number 2, bordering on that sort of like number 1 slot, right?
Facts.
The 3 goals at the day, right? With 3 goals, I mean, personally, I think the first goal, I think he could have reached that. He could have reached that, knock it onto the bar. You know, I know it was a good shot, but that's what you're there for. You're there to save good shots,
You might have broke his hand in the process, though. It was 70 miles per hour.
You might have broken your hand, but that's a risk you take, innit? That's a risk you take. That's a risk you just got to put your life on the line, mate. You know what I mean? That's true, though, isn't it? But do you remember when we played them last time in the day, right? Played them one other time went under Klopp,
Yeah.
and like obviously when Darwin Nunes come on and scored us 2 goals, and it was history.
Yeah.
Well, it was. Do you remember Miguel Almiron? Yeah, Miguel Almiron volleyed the ball from the same spot where Isaac leveled that ball, right, from the same spot. And what sort of like thing that it was coming just as fast, because remember a volley is faster than a shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's faster than a shot. So it's coming faster than the shot that Isaac had, right? What thing did and what bloody Allison did, yeah, is just got it and he tipped it onto the bar, didn't he? He tipped it onto the bar, it bounced out, then he knocked it out. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think at the end of the day you could have done a bit better at the end of the day for that goal, right? But yes, just give you the benefit of that goal, the first goal. Let's give you the benefit of that, right? The 2 other goals that went in, you could have done a lot better.
Facts.
You could have done a lot better, and that's what I'm trying to say. The 3rd goal, I don't know what you was doing. Nobody up to now, people do not know what he's doing. Why did he watch it like that? He literally watched.
It wasn't even going over his head. It was going across the goal. So why would you?
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
he literally watched the ball drop on the floor. Fabian Schär must have thought, "Fucking hell, that's some of that." He just come in and put it in the back of the net.
Yeah.
The thing is that he didn't even move. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what it was at the day?
Just watched it. Crazy.
You know what it was? I think if he'd have went for it, it went for it, and it obviously went in, right? It probably wouldn't be get blamed so much. We would have said, "Oh fuck, you know," didn't that? But it's the fact that he didn't even move. He didn't even move. Now this fella now, yeah, is going to go into the Merseyside derby. Do you know what I mean? So, listen, you know what? At the end of the day, right? It's like I think at the day, you know what I mean. Newcastle had a plan, shithousery in midfield, yeah, and I think that referee wasn't much cop either. I'm telling you, he wasn't much cop either.
He didn't give us any free kicks whatsoever in that game.
Listen, even a free kick towards the end when they scored that goal, that wasn't a free kick.
It wasn't.
That wasn't a free kick.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You know what I mean? But you see, what it is at the end of the day, is this thing. Another reason why people are vexed as well is because Mo Salah worked so hard to bring to 3-2.
I know.
And then the Keller just he literally threw the game away like that. Do you know what I mean? He threw the game away. And that's why I know that's why I was annoyed. And a lot of other people was annoyed about that. But the fact of the day is this, right? Arnie Slotter's got to utilise his squad a bit more better than what he's utilising it now. Because you got to think about it. A man like Elliot and they hasn't even had a proper game.
He hasn't
had a proper game.
Returned from injury. I don't think he's made a cameo yet. Oh no, he made a brief cameo against City, but that was like for 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes.
Yeah,
that's literally 2 minutes. You know what I mean? So he hasn't sort of like made an impact. Do you know what I'm saying, right? And like you got a defensive midfielder on the bench at the day, right? You don't seem to want to use. Some games at the day you can use that sort of like ball carrying 6. You can use that sort of like that star there, yeah. But some games at the day you just need a 6. Because remember at the day, you know, that's what they had. They had Bruno Gomes, right? Benali and Joe Linton in midfield, right? And it was just like literally at the day, just like pressing us, destroying everything that we do in the midfield. Literally at the day, right? And to consider at the day, right? Like a game before that, West Ham that are struggling in the day to sort of like to get any form to win any game, yeah, right? West Ham went to sort of like Newcastle, and Newcastle couldn't even lay a glove on them.
Yeah.
And they beat them 2-0. And we were struggling against them. We shouldn't struggle against them, but I have to put it down to Arne Slot, because what it was at Arne Slot and for that, right? He put out the wrong squad. You know what I mean? He had to take the blame for that. He had to take the L for that, right? And the players at the day didn't do their subject justice either.
No,
do you know what I mean?
The players were terrible. The only player that could walk out with their head held high is Mohamed Salah, and then Trent, because Trent came on literally in the space
Yeah.
of 5 minutes, got 2 assists, and Szoboszlai as well. He had a good impact when he came on, but I feel like if it wasn't for Mohamed Salah, we're not even getting a point. We're even nowhere near getting a point because Darwin Núñez was MIA in my opinion. Cody
He's got to
Gakpo
go.
was quiet, didn't really make an impact. And then when Diaz came out, Diaz was quite wasteful with possession, overplayed it quite a few times. Probably should have got a penalty towards the end, but that's another discussion, I guess. But our
Yeah, definitely.
our attackers were just not there at all. And I feel like I'm sure you've been seeing online in terms of this huge debate with regards to Darwin Núñez. What's your stance on him? I'll tell you mine, but I want to hear it from you first. What's your stance on Darwin Núñez in terms of his role in the team and possibly his future at the club?
He hasn't got no future at the club anymore.
Okay.
Right. I was Darwin Núñez' greatest defender, right? I was. It's great defender, and when first season when people was cussing him saying he did and he that and everything like that, I said, look, give him a chance, give him one more season to get used to it and all that, right? Judge him at the end of his second season. Because I always believe in the day is giving somebody and they at least 2 seasons a day to start showing their worth. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
He still hasn't done it. If anything, he's got worse this season. I think it's about time we cut the losses. Now, what I'll say about Darwin Núñez is at the day, right? And people get me right about this, right? Darwin Núñez is not a shit player. Darwin Núñez is not a rugby player. You know what it is? He's just not suited to the English football.
Yeah.
He's just not suited to the English league. He's not suited. That's not his thing. I think if he goes to Spain, Italy, even Germany, right, he'll cook. And I think what will happen when he goes to those countries, he'll have a bit more time in the day to do what he wants to do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think the game's too physical for him. The game's too fast for him. This is the English game. Yeah. Do you remember? If you put your mind back, yeah. Remember Diego Forlan, yeah. Now, even like Darwin Núñez has scored more goals in the English league than Diego Forlan.
Yeah.
But Diego Forlan came with all his promise to Man United for an Independiente, you know what I mean? And that's a good team out in South America, yeah? He came with all his promise and everything that this guy was good and this and that. They paid 3 million for him or something like that, right? He couldn't score for love nor money. The only goals I've seen him score was 2 goals against us.
Us. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, 2 goals against us. The only goals I've seen him score, but I think he scored a few more after that. But you know what it is with Diego Forlan? He just the English game wasn't suited to him. Yeah, right. What happens at the day? He leaves Man United and he goes to Villarreal. He starts cooking. He starts cooking blood, right? He leaves Villarreal and goes to Atletico Madrid. He cooks even more.
Yeah, that's where he really shined.
You know what I mean? Even Harry Redknapp, right, that was with Tottenham at that time, wanted to bring him back to England because he was cooking so much. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Do you know what I mean? I think he won the Golden Boot for La Liga. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it was like a transformation because what it was when he went back to Spain, right? He had time to do what he wants to do with the ball. So that's when he saw the real Diego Forlan, which he saw at Independiente. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think the same is with Darwin Núñez. He needs to go back to Spain or Portugal. Portugal, or I would say for him, go Germany. Germany. He will cook in Germany.
I think he'll do well in Italy as well. I feel like he'll cook in Italy as well.
Oh, in Italy, and then Italy. If we went to somewhere like Napoli,
like Juve or something. Yeah, Napoli would be great.
Napoli. He went Napoli and think he's cooking. He's cooking with the likes. With the likes of Lukaku out there. And what's the other one? McTominay.
Yeah.
McTominay's doing. Yeah, he's doing well out there as well, isn't he? He's doing well.
Gilmore as well. The 2 Scottish guys there as well. So
yeah, I'll tell you something. From that, it's like McTominay's gone to Napoli and he's doing the business and that.
They love him there.
They love him there, you know. And they love it. And you know something. To be fair, with McTominay, I didn't think he was a bad player, to
No,
be
I
honest.
didn't think so either. To be honest, no, I didn't think so either.
I'll tell you what. There's a if obviously things were different between us and Man United. Things were different, and I say that like, yeah, we're gonna get McTominay. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind it. You know,
Yeah, he'd be
I
a good
wouldn't
goal
actually
scorer
mind
for us,
it.
I think. Yeah, he
He
definitely
can,
had a presence in that midfield. You know, he's not
yeah,
bad.
because
He can shoot as well. He can score goals.
yeah,
Got touch
you know what I
him
mean.
as
He
well.
done his thing. I don't know why they didn't like him at Man United, but he gone there. So I think at the day, sort of like, this is his last season. I don't want to see him in the squad over this last season. You know what I mean? If we
Yeah.
can get if we can get a move for him in January, get that move, because apparently they're supposed to be. I don't know what's happening, but they're supposed to be monitoring that João Gomez that plays for Brighton.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
Liverpool's.
João Pedro.
Yes, João Pedro. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, we
Okay.
always get them one mixed up. Yeah, Pedro, they're supposed to be seriously monitoring that
Okay.
João Pedro. And I tell you what, I wouldn't mind him. You know,
No, he's
I
good.
think he, I think he cooks at Liverpool. You know,
No, he
I
looks
think
good.
he cooks.
Mm.
False nine,
Yeah,
false
no, he
nine,
looks
blood.
good. He looks good. I'm not gonna lie, he would be a good option. But regarding Nunes, I co-sign everything you said.
Mm,
Yeah, and it might sound. You know what's funny about our fan base? I don't know what it is, but we've gotten really, like, not us in particular, but some of us have gotten really attached to Darwin Nunes, where
yeah,
it's like this unconditional support, where you say anything bad about him, you're seen as a hater. But
yeah.
obviously, when we analyze these games and give our opinions in terms of what we saw and how we, kind of present the game in our eyes, we have a right to say what we feel. And I don't feel like Darwin Nunes has improved at all. I think he has digressed over the years because his concern as a striker is not about the way he presses or the way he works hard for the team and all that stuff. It's what we've paid the big bucks for, and that's his finishing. And his finishing
Yeah,
has not improved at all. His
yeah,
finishing has been at the same level since it was 3 years ago. And people are
yeah,
like, no, do you know what? With more time, he'll get used to the league. He'll be more calm and composed. That's not in his nature. He's not
no,
that type of striker. He's not a clinical striker. He's not calm and composed. Whenever he's in a one-on-one situation, I don't get the feeling he's going to score because he just doesn't have that presence or that coldness that you need to be a striker
mm,
where you go through on goal, you literally have the coolest of minds and then just slot it in. He hardly slots the ball in like with a placed shot. It's always like he's smashing it in. So if he
yeah.
hits the goal,
It's like he's rushing, isn't it? It's like he's
yeah,
rushing to do
he's
it.
erratic. He's erratic in front of goal. So
Mm,
that's not a real goal scorer. That's not we've been blessed with good goal scorers or
yeah,
amazing goal scorers, I should say, over the years. And we know what a true goal scorer is, and he's not it. I'm really sorry to say some of the fans, he's not it. The player that I would love in this team was in the opposite side in this fixture. Isak for me is the one what people see Darwin Nunes as because they're very similar in terms of stature. They're quite tall guys, physical, quick on the channels, but Isaac is the one that is a finisher in front of goal. Obviously, he costs
mm,
an arm and a leg, don't get me wrong, but in terms of profile, that's the kind of striker we should have really assigned because Isaac's always been clinical wherever he's been. So for me, I have to agree with you. I do feel like Nunes' days are numbered. If we get a January move, I'm not gonna lie, I'll bite anyone's
I'll
hand off
bite the hand off for it.
if it's a reasonable offer. I just don't see him being part of the plans next year. And I really hope from like the hierarchy of our clubs that they actually accept the fact that it hasn't worked. Because sometimes pride can get in the way. We paid big bucks for this guy. I don't want it to be the case where he's utilized as a backup striker going forward because on paper he wouldn't actually be a backup striker.
Mm.
But we need to have an elite striker in our team. Like
Yeah, we need guys.
if we
We
had like
we need
Osimhen in our
goals.
team and we had Nunes in the back, I wouldn't
Mm,
mind it because you've got a lethal striker that's gonna bang
yeah,
in the goals. Darwin Nunes can't be the main man at Liverpool because I know some fans are saying that maybe if he was given that confidence that you're the main guy, everything's going to go through you and things will change, it's not going to happen
I don't
because
trust him for that.
he's
I
been
don't trust
given
him
that
for that.
chance though. He's been given that chance over the
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
It
exactly.
hasn't worked. And this is going to be, I feel like this is going to be a rude comment, but I'm going to say how I feel. He hasn't been an improvement to Origi. Origi
No,
was that
no, no,
guy.
no. Because Origi to me, and then Origi to me, right? I happen to like Origi. I
Yeah,
did like him at the club because he
yeah,
was
I did
more.
as well.
He's more clutch in the day than
Yeah,
sort of like Darwin Núñez. It's like the same situation in the if you look at sort of like Luis Diaz at the day, right? Luis Diaz, he hasn't been an improvement to Mane, has he?
oh
He
no,
hasn't been into me. Mane and the day was clutch. Was so super clutch. You know what I mean? You knew when Mane picked up the ball on left hand side, didn't it? His left hand side. You knew more time at the day he's scoring. He's either
yeah.
scoring or setting somebody up. Scoring and setting up. He's such a clutch player.
Mm.
And this is what I'm talking about, you see. Now, they say it, and they know obviously with Darwin Núñez, captain chaos, cause all the chaos. He runs about the field, he tracks back, he defends, and he does this and that. That's all right, but we never bought him for that.
No, he's a goal
You know what
scorer.
I mean? We bought him to score goals. And if you're
Yeah,
not scoring goals in it for that, what are you doing here? I don't care. You know what? I don't care. And then if my striker don't run back or track back,
okay,
I don't give a damn, right?
yeah,
All I care about is you putting that ball in the back of the net. If you put that ball in the back of the net, right, like one or two times in a game and if that right, yeah, you've done your job.
mm,
Tracking back, defending and that's for defensive midfielders
yeah,
or holding midfielders and your defenders. That's their job. Your
yeah,
job at the day is an attacker. Attack that goal. That's your
mm.
job. I don't hear about Captain Chaos at the day.
No,
You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know.
And like people don't. And you might get a player right. They might be looking at a player right, and he's like a striker at the day, right, and he scores bare goals in the day. Do you know that sections of the fan base won't like him because no, I don't like him because he don't track back. Why does he need to track back? He needs to score freaking goals, man. You don't need to track back. I don't listen. All this like tracking back and working for a team, I don't care as long as you score goals. That's what you're there for. You're there to score goals, man. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? And he's not doing it. Yeah, you're running about the pitch at the name, 90 miles an hour, doing this and doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like the other day at Newcastle and they right, he's irrelevant in Newcastle.
but,
He was
but
literally
what impact does he
irrelevant.
have
Do you know
by
what I mean?
running around the pitch? It doesn't have any impact. It's not
Do
like
you know
he's
what I mean?
tapping anyone or he's pressing from the front and he's created himself a chance and he scored. He doesn't do that. He's just running around like a headless chicken, and that's all it is. I'm sorry, I can't accept that as our number 9 being someone that just works hard. It's not acceptable. You have to
No,
be a killer in front of goal.
no.
And you know the way our fans treat him, it's like I'll give you an example. So we've got Danz, who's a young up-and-coming striker, 18,
Yeah,
19 years old. If he's putting in that kind of shift, that is understandable because he's a young kid. He's coming through the ranks. He's
yeah,
trying to learn his trade. And as a fan base, we always try to look out for our own, right? So if we got a young
yeah.
kid coming through, you're gonna put, oh, do you know what? Well done. You're working hard. You're doing good for the team. Like he's gonna learn, and that's gonna give him the confidence, and then that confidence will lead to goals. Darwin Núñez is 25 years old. He's not a kid. He should
No,
be
it's
an
not.
accomplished striker right now. So for us to give
Yeah.
him credit for running around the pitch, I'm sorry, that is not good enough for Liverpool Football Club.
No, it's not good enough. Standards have dropped. And the thing is about it, I think at the day, right? I'm not being fun. There's a shout at the day for Jaden Dance to be to be in the squad and B to actually probably start or come on as a sub. There's a shout for it because you've got like a prospective guy and that can score you goals and everything that right. But and then you got like a guy and they from South America, which is supposed to be the he's supposed to be such a clutch player that can't get goals.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's like one of the times in the day that one game in the day they scored 2 goals in the first half, right? And Darwin Núñez scored one of them, and it was like he's on the right hand side and he curled it in the bottom corner net. Good goal, yeah, right. Now that was like a harder shot and a harder goal to score. Yeah,
Mm.
right. I think in the second half, he runs down the pitch, counter attacking her. runs down the pitch. He's got the goalkeeper at the end of the day, right? And like instead of like either A, try and take it round the goalkeeper, and like the worst case scenario at the end of the day, right? Like the goalkeeper pulls you down, you get a penalty. Do you know what I mean? Or like you score. Do you know what I mean? Or B, at the end of the day, dink the goalkeeper. Just dink him.
Yeah.
Just dink the goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? Right? He did neither. No, he shot at the goalkeeper the power, and the goalkeeper just saved it. He like bounced off him,
Yeah.
and I thought that was a chance. That was a chance gone. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you look at what Darwin Núñez does as a footballer for Liverpool, what he does the hard things easy, and the easy things hard.
Yeah.
He's got it mixed up. So I don't know. I don't know where he goes when it comes to Liverpool.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I don't think there's a place for him at Liverpool beyond this season. Do you know what I mean? You know, at the end of the day, they're not going to get rid of him in January, so they have to get rid of him in summer. He has to go in summer because he's of no use to Liverpool Football Club. Because at the end of the day, and it'll always come back down to this, right? The English game is not suited to him. He may be a clutch player in a day, but not in England.
No.
You know what I mean? He would be a clutch player in Italy, Spain, Portugal, or Germany. Do you know what I mean? Them four countries there, you'll see a clutch Darwin Núñez. You'll see a different Darwin Núñez. Even if it's RB Leipzig, if you do, we did a swap with RB Leipzig, yeah, you can have Núñez and we have Xabi Simon. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, right. Because I think Xabi Simon is a quality player. He's quality. You can play him as a 9, I reckon, or like a false 9. I think he'd be good. Yeah, or even a 10. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, I mean something like that. Because like you can, because what you can even do, you can even change it up, like change up the tactics and play with 2 10s. Or if you just want to play 1 10, you play 1 10. You pick him. But the fact that in the days, it's like we're wasting our time. Wasting our time with Darwin Núñez. Another player that we're wasting our time with as well, that I would like to see gone at the end of the in summer, is Jota. I'd like to see him go because he spends too much time on the injury table. Don't get me wrong, I know he's clutch, I know he scores goals, but what's the point of having all that if you hardly play in a team? You hardly play. You're always injured, and we always like you spend more of your time at the day, so like recovering at the day, trying to get match fit. And then when you do get match fit, you get injured again. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then you're out for like 3 or 4 months at the day. Then you have to repeat that process all over again.
Yeah.
It's too much, mate. It's too much. It's like we need to. One of the reasons why I wouldn't want, yeah. One of the reasons why I wouldn't want Alexander Isak. I know he's a great player, but he's another one that like is a bit injury prone. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he does pick up a lot of injuries and everything that, right? So I know he's clutch, right? But I don't see the point of having a clutch player if they're going to spend more time on the injury table.
Yeah,
because do you understand what I'm saying? Because it's not doing anything for your club. Your club, in essence, is not moving forward. Because all right, then you look at Alexander Isak, yeah, right? For how clutchy is it in day, right? Newcastle should be in a different position than what they are now. Do you know what I mean? Now, because at the end of the day, so like he misses a lot of the games right? They don't, and then you got the other one as well that misses a lot of games, which is quite good. Is Joe Willock, yeah. Right? He's injury prone. Callum Wilson injury prone as well. These are players at the day that are clutch players at the day, but they spend more time on the injury table than what they do at the day on the actual pitch. So what is the point? What is the point of having them on your team? You might say, look, you know what, guys, at the day, right? It hasn't worked out for you. It hasn't worked out well with us and you, right? We're gonna go in a different direction. Do you know what I mean? And try and sell them on, and try and get at the end of the day as what money you can get for them. You might not get sort of like what you paid out for them, but try and get what you can get because they're serving no purpose at your club. I wouldn't want Alexander Isak at my club. So the people that I don't want people to think that that's a cry for me, us at the day to try and go and get him. Do you know what I mean? Newcastle let him go, we try and get him. I wouldn't want him at our club because at the day he's too injury prone. You just literally be going down the same route as a Jota. You know what I mean? That's injured and very good, but injured. And what really vexes me is when Jota comes at the day and he gets match fit and he starts putting some games together and he scores goals and this and that, right? The next minute, he's gone. It doesn't last. It does not last. You know what I mean? So we need to be getting these players at the day that sort of like, I tell you what, we need to get players at the day. Right? When we get the players, I don't know if they do this, yeah, but we need to check out their injury records first.
I'm sure they do. Obviously, they'll monitor their sort of medical history and all that sort of stuff in terms of how many appearances they've made over the years. So I'm definitely sure they will do their sort of those kind of research before they would acquire a player. But it's an interesting point because obviously on paper, I'll definitely say Jota is probably one of our best finishers. But in football, availability is just as good as anything else. So if you're not available, then that is it's an important factor in having certain players in your squad. But having said that, I don't see us selling both strikers next summer. I see what I would like to see. This is what the kind of vision I have in terms of Liverpool going forward. Darwin Núñez for me has to leave. I feel like we need to cut ties. It just hasn't worked out, and he needs to prolong his career elsewhere because I feel like in another league his skill sets will work. He will get goals, but in the Premier League it just doesn't work. Jota, I feel like the start of this season there was a bit of over reliance on Jota because he played a lot of games consecutively as well, and we know his track record. He gets injured a lot, so I want it to be where he's managed a bit better, where he's not a starter week in week out, but he's more of a bench player, if that makes sense. And then we upgrade Darwin and sign a proper number 9. Now, whoever is kind of your cup of tea, like I'd go for Isak, you'd go for João Pedro, for example.
Yeah.
That would be so. Whoever the guy is, we just need an upgrade for that number 9 role.
Of course,
and
yeah.
I also feel like a bit of a crazy shot because we haven't really seen him in action as of yet. Is Chiesa. I feel like Chiesa is gonna play a part in our season in the second half, and he's a player that can play across the front line. Last season,
Yeah.
as a striker, so I feel like
he's a 9, didn't he?
Yeah. So and from now until the end of this season, and I don't want to seem harsh, but I'm going to say how it is. I don't think Darwin Núñez should be starting games. That's literally how I see it. He should be on the bench at all times. For me, players that are ahead of him in that pecking order, when Jota's fit, he would be the main striker. Luis Diaz, from what I can see in recent weeks, can play up top and can do a good job as well. You can have Chiesa playing as a striker. Worst comes to worst, you can play Gakpo through the middle, even though I don't think Arne Slot likes him as a striker. So he hasn't played up front.
Left in it.
Yeah, he hasn't played him up front this season at all. So I will play these players ahead of Darwin Núñez, and next summer, upgrade him, sell him on, and then find someone that fits our system. So we're not over-reliant on players like Jota and Chiesa, because Chiesa obviously hasn't really played. He picked up 1 or 2 injuries, but he can play different roles. And I feel like it's up to him in terms of what impact he wants to have on this team. Because if Chiesa comes in and plays like the Chiesa from like 2-3 years ago, he has a shooting to start in whether he starts on the left, through the middle, or the right. Not the right, obviously, not Salah's there, but he has a chance to be either on the left or through the middle because he can play there at the highest level. So for me, I don't know what's going on with the club in terms of transfers. Do you see us signing any players in January? Because I personally don't have confidence. You know, you saw what happened in the summer. I can't say with chest that we're going to sign players. We need players. We alluded to this earlier in the evening. We need a number 6. Let's be honest. We need a number 6.
Yeah.
But do you think we will acquire someone, or do you think we'll be typical FSG where we'll be opportunistic, where if something comes up, then we might pursue a player?
Yeah, it will be something like that. I mean, all right, just speak on Chiesa, sort of like quick before I say about obviously the transfers. Chiesa today, I feel sorry for him because he never had a pre-season. He never had a pre-season or anything of that measure or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? He's literally at the day being pushed out the door of Juventus and he's come here. Do you know what I mean? So I think it was more likely that he's going to pick up an injury because he didn't have that pre-season with either Juventus or with us. He never had that pre-season. You know what I mean? I think Chiesa would be an important player for us. You know what I mean? I just want to get him some game time, and I think he'd be important. Do you know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
in the respects of like Liverpool going out and buying players in January, I just don't think it's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of talk. Do you know what I mean? Because every day we're linked with everybody, the mother, the grandmother, the cat, everybody. You know what I mean? We're linked with everybody. Every day is a new story. Do you know what I mean? You know, and if you sort of like speak to these players or their player agents and everything, and you ask them, "Oh, is I heard there's interest in the day for Liverpool for your player." They'll say, "No." They'll tell you no. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to happen. I think at the end of the day, sort of like what it is with FSG. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, they only spend money when we're out of the Champions League. When we fall out that Champions League spot, you know what I mean? They'll spend money at the end of the day to get us back in. Once we're in that Champions League spot, they won't spend the money. All they're doing, and they just be taking the money and then taking the money from the Champions League to put back in their pockets of what they spent out previously to get us in there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So all this talk about, I just want to tell people, stop talking about Zubimendi. Stop talking about him because it's not happening. It's just not happening. Yeah. And the fact of the day, right? This is my cynical side of this situation with Zubimendi in the first place, right? Who is to say that Liverpool had an agreement in the first place? And they might not have even had an agreement in the first place. They might have just come back and just told us, yeah, man, you know what I mean? We're going to sign him. And he says, yes. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not being funny, right? Check this now. Check this. He said no to Real Madrid. He said no to Arsenal. And I think he also even said no to Man United because Man United was looking at him. Yeah. Now he said no to 3 teams. Yeah. 2 of the teams are from England. Yeah. And all of a sudden he's saying yes to us. We just come in and he's saying yes to us, right? Okay. Let's take that as a fact that he said yes to us, yeah? Right? Now he's refused 3 teams now, right? Yeah. And because of that he didn't want to leave. But he says yes to us and everything there. Then all of a sudden sort of like he's saying, no, I want to stay here. You would have known that he would have known that anyway that he wanted to stay there. Do you know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? My argument is that if Zubimendi said if Zubimendi did say yes, his mind was made up. There's no sort of like there was no kind of like, you know, like the board at the end of the day saying that they're trying to convince him to stay and blah blah blah. There's none of that and everything like. If he said yes, his mind was made up because he's already turned down 3 previous clubs. So obviously at the end of the day, he must have made his mind up fully at the end of the day, right? That he wanted to come to Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
So let's say at the end of the day, right, for argument's sake, yeah, that was the case at the end of the day, right? That he made his mind up and he wanted to come to Liverpool, right? All Liverpool had to do then was pay 50 million. That's all they had to do. Pay 50 million and Zubimendi would have been here. Yeah? Would have been at the club, right? But apparently, what Liverpool wanted to was it was negotiating. They wanted to get it for a cheaper price.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he must have thought this is how sort of like we're led to believe. You know what I mean? It gave sort of like it gave what's it called the team, Real Sociedad, the owners, and that it gave them time and they to come back to Zubimendi and talk him out of going to England. You know what I mean? And then he said, you know, he wanted to stay in England, right? So then you can look at him. You can look at it in days. So like in one bit, right? If that transpired, then it's Liverpool's fault. It's not Zubimendi's fault. It's Liverpool's fault, right? if it was a situation that he never said yes in the first place and everything like that, right? Yeah, it's still Liverpool's fault because Liverpool came back and told people that he said yes.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's like, it's to me at the end of the day, it's like a Calceda thing again, right? You honestly think at the end of the day, right? If we Calceda, right? If Liverpool negotiated at Nick, remember at the end of the day, I got suckered into it as well. We all got suckered into the
We did.
Calceda thing, yeah. But that was a smoke screen. Trust me, when when the dust is settled and you start seeing things for what it is, that was a smoke screen. Because if you negotiated like 115 million, yeah, and it was 110 million. Sorry, he
Yeah.
negotiated 110 million for Calceda, right? Because remember at the day there's a bidding auction. There's supposed to be a bidding auction. Liverpool bid the most in effect and won the bid and they. So the rest of the day was supposed to be formality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he's saying that then what it was at the day. Apparently now, Carcedo said when he realised that the day, well, look, I'm going to Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because they won the bid. He told his representative, oh, slow down, hold on, and they right because Chelsea are supposed to be interested.
Mm.
And I think they're going to stump up the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds suspect to me because the fact in the day, well, we all know it. And day, number one at the day, right? Yeah. If at the end of the day, sort of like you being bought by a team at the day, right? Yeah. You as a player have got no say. You're going where your client sends you. Yeah. Right. Got no say. Number two at the end of the day. Number two at the end of the day, right? Is at the day. Well, how does he know at the day what the hell at the day that Chelsea's doing? All he's supposed to know at the end of the day is what Liverpool's offered, and he's going to Liverpool. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So what should have happened? What should have happened? Because Liverpool's got offices in London. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what should have happened at the day is right. Is when the bid got accepted and like they won the bidding war. The next move should have been at the day Liverpool going to Carcedo, grabbing up Carcedo and the day right, yeah, and say right down to London, doing the medical, and the rest is history. It should have been like they had to wait. There's
Yeah.
no that doesn't happen in the world of transfers. You don't once your bid has been accepted and you won the thing, you don't have to wait for a next man. And remember the day, they didn't buy Carcedo. They didn't buy Carcedo in a day till sort of like it was like a week. It was a week later till it was official at the day that they bought Carcedo. Do you know what I mean? Week later. So really and truly, at the end of the day, right, in the world of transfers, right, you
Yeah.
don't wait a week at the day, right? Yeah, because basically Liverpool waited. They waited at the day, right, a week, nearly enough a week, until they decided to pull out. Do you know what I mean? So all that thing there, and then where they were supposed to buy Carceda, that was a smoke screen. Because you know what? At the end of the day, yeah, if that was the case and everything that right, they had all this money to buy Carcedo, right? Why didn't they go and buy somebody at the day,
Like
right,
an alternative.
for like 80 or 90 million? I mean, for 80 or 90 million, which would have been just as good as Carcedo, if not better. They could have gone to they could listen. They could have gone and if they had that money, they could have gone to Porto and bought Varela.
Mm.
They could have bought Varela for 80 million, yeah, or even less than that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But what did they do? They went and bought Ryan Gravenberch for 35 million,
Mm.
a fraction of what they would have paid for Carcedo. Yeah, and then when it comes to this uh, transfer window. Do you remember in the January transfer window that came after that? We were supposed to buy that guy there from what's his name for Fluminense. We were supposed to buy the defensive midfielder
Andre.
that went to Wolves.
Andre.
Yeah. Yeah, Andre, yeah, that went to Wolves. We were supposed to buy him. We was nailed on to buy him because remember we went for him first,
Yeah.
before Carcedo, we went for him first. He's only the fact that in day that sort of like Fluminense said that and they sort of like they want to keep him right? For that, obviously for that couple of Libertadores, that Champions League thing, yeah. They
Yeah.
want to keep it for that, and if you do want them now, we'll sell them to you, but you're gonna have to pay a premium. You know what I mean? So what it wasn't today, Liverpool did not want to pay the premium, right? So they said, all right, then you know what, we'll come back. We'll come back, and they for him in January. You know what I mean? Because that's when a couple of that Libertadores would finish in December.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll finish in December, and I think that right. So they could have just obviously gone and got him in January. That's all they're supposed to do. But if you notice that they're coming up to that time now, right? All of a sudden, there starts to be obstacles. Fulham was supposed to be interested in,
Yeah, they were.
want to buy him and think that, right? And they didn't want to get into a bidding war. Where did he end up? He ended up with Wolves and think that, right? For 25 million?
Yeah, about that much.
Yeah, between 20 and 25 million. He ended up with Wolves and think that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So we came out of the race and they because we didn't see the value of getting a bidding war. What they do at the end of the day is sell us a bunch of smoke screens at the end of the day, right? Like if it's not like them promising a player, oh, you know what? In the day, if we don't get the player, there's a war chest at the end of the day that we've got for next summer. We're gonna spend 200 or 300 million or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? We've heard about this war chest for the last 6 or 7 years. Do you know
Next
what I'm saying?
FC, that's our nickname.
Right. So the mere fact that today that people are thinking, and this is what I'm trying to say with people. I don't want people to be disappointed. So get it out of your mind at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
That Liverpool is going to spend money on players in January. They might not They might not spend money in summer. This summer coming up.
There's no
You know
guarantee.
what I mean?
There's no
There's
guarantee.
no guarantee. There's no guarantee. Because let's say, for instance, right? Let's say this is what the talk's going to be. Yeah. Let's think of an ideal world. Yeah. If Liverpool win the Champions League and win the league, yeah, right. All they're going to say to Arne Slot is like, oh well, you know what? This team and day you won these trophies with this team and everything. Yeah, just go again.
Yeah. Well,
Just
why do
go
you need to
again with
upgrade?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just they're capable of doing it again. So and that's the same thing they did to Klopp. That's the same thing they did to Klopp. That's why all these players like Henderson, Fabinho, and all them players that they got burnt out.
Yeah.
They literally got burnt out and everything that, and they had nothing left. Do you know what I mean? Because they had such an intense season, and when they won the Champions League, yeah. Remember at the day we were supposed to get reinforcements, but we never got it. Yeah.
No.
We meant to go again and everything that, and we did go again, and we won the league that season. We won the league, yeah, right. That summer we were supposed to get reinforced. We did get I think who did we get? Darwin Núñez and Alpha Melo. Do you know what I mean? Some
Yeah, I think so.
crap like that.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, right. And like all those players that day, right, that was good and did their thing and everything that, right, was all burnt out. And what happened the following summer? They all left. The whole midfield left. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's embarrassing. So
Yeah.
people thinking at the day that's all right. People thinking it's miraculously going to change it today. What? Because Klopp left, and we got Arne Slot in. We got this second rate, and I don't care what anybody says and everything that, right? Richard Hughes at the day is second rate. He's got no business being at Liverpool. You know what?
I think you're being too nice. I don't even think he's second rate. I think you're being too nice.
Yeah, he's. You know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's not that. You know what it is about what Richard Hughes? To me, at the end of the day, he is champ. He's championship level or League One. He's them levels, and that's the levels he's at. Yeah. Then he's powered him, and then Gary Birchall, which is a head scout and everything. That makes it even worse.
Yeah.
He's League One or League Two scout. You know what I mean? But we have got these people at the club. Bloody Edwards has come back, yeah. Michael Edwards has come back, and miraculously, people are thinking at the day, well, look, it's all going to change now. We're going to start spending money and stuff. You know what I mean? Because we've got these new people in. Do you know what I mean? It's the same. because you know what it is. You still got the same hierarchy at the top. You still got them sort of people there, and the fact is, at the end of the day, right? What a lot of people don't seem to realise, it was Michael Edwards that was instrumental in Klopp leaving.
Yeah,
He was instrumental in that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You see him trying to laugh on Klopp's last day and everything that. He would try to laugh with Klopp and everything that. Klopp didn't even bother with him. Klopp looked upon him and said, yeah. Do you know what I mean? You know, and people miraculously think at the day. You know what it is, right? I'm gonna tell you what it is at the day, right? Yeah. And I'm glad we talked about this, yeah, right? What you got in a Liverpool fan base and a Liverpool structure, right? You got a lot of people at the day that are propagandists. They're propagandists. They'll spread a whole load of propaganda about Liverpool, saying, you know, they're doing this and they're doing that, they're doing this and doing that for the best of the club, for the best of the fans, and they ain't doing nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? My brethren at the day, right, I seen their man there in the day when they did the American tour, yeah, right? And there was this place and everything that, right, after, you know, a game and everything that, right, and all FSG lot was there and everything that. He saw all the propagandists, the English propagandists and everything, with this FSG lot, right, drinking champagne and laughing up with them and everything there. You understand?
Yeah.
Right? Those are the people. Those are the people that FSG sent out and everything that, right, to spread propaganda. You know what I mean? To twist, to tell us rubbish. They got a whole lot of propagandists and everything that, and it's not good enough. Because what we literally turned into, yeah, we've turned into it, and they sort of like a club at the day that they can't really take seriously.
No.
Because the fact that if we drop off next season, next in the new year, if we drop off, I want to say next month, next month, there's no guarantees at the end of the day that sort of like that they are gonna bring people in at the end of the day to sort of like, you know, keep us going, get us over the line. That's why, in some respects, I didn't rate Klopp and everything that, right? Slot, sorry, coming in and this and that, because I thought he ain't got no experience, yeah. But yeah, I ain't got nothing against him. But that's why I feel sorry for him. Because no matter what he accomplishes this season and day, right, he's not going to get the proper backing. And he seems like that sort of person. Do you know what? He seems like that sort of person, right, that won't put up with at the end of the day what Klopp's put up with. Possibly. He won't put up with that. Because the fact of the day, who does he look better for? He wins at the end of the day. It's like he wins the league this season and the Champions League, or even if he wins the league this season, yeah, right, yeah. And then he got Mikel Arteta at the day that's been in the club at the day 5 years at the day, right? And I spent $1 billion, near enough $1 billion, and hasn't won jack shit. This guy comes in, an unknown guy comes in from Feyenoord, hardly spends anything and wins the league and everything, that right? Yeah. Don't you think the likes of Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and let's put Real Madrid in there. Don't you think they can be looking at this fella?
Of course they are.
And saying, yeah, come over here. We'll give you money to spend. And he's going to see Liverpool and they, yeah. He's going to see Liverpool and they not giving him any money. He say, you know what, man, I'm off. He's not going to put. I'm telling you, he is not going to put up with what Klopp put up with for 9 years.
No,
that's why people don't realize that day how special Klopp was, because he put up with a hell of a lot from these jokers and everything that, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, they got their propagandists, yeah, right? That they would tell to go out and spread propaganda. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And say, yeah, man, it's all good. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're gonna bring in that player. We're gonna bring in that player. If it wasn't for us at the end of the day, right, Liverpool at the end of the day would be nowhere. We'd be bankrupt.
I hate when I hear that. I hate when I hear that. That's nonsense as well. Do you know what it is with FSG? And the reason why I don't have faith in them is because track record will tell you they're not ambitious. The big word that I look at is ambition. That's that's the blocker of Liverpool being very successful right now. That is the blocker because we've got all the foundations. We've got the fan base, we've got the stadium, we've got the training complex, we've got everything in place. We've got an elite squad right now that has a lot of talent, young talent coming through as well. Everything is good in terms of that sort of side of our game. But our owners do not have ambition whatsoever. Every example that you've mentioned, the word that keeps popping in my head, they don't have ambition at all.
Yeah, yeah.
You're saying Arne Slot in a couple of years' time might want to leave. Why would he leave? Because they are not showing any ambition. If he wins the league in his first year, that's phenomenal. Because, like you said, and I didn't have a strong feeling when Arne Slot came in because I'll be quite honest with you, I was not fully aware of his coaching career. Obviously, you do your research as a content creator, you find out details about him, but I haven't seen it firsthand. So I always gave him that chance to, let me see what he brings to the table. Then after the months pile up, then I'll base my opinions on him. And so far, I think he's done a fantastic job as our head coach. But going forward, if the club do not show ambition, the coach might leave soon. And then look, this whole contract situation, I'm going to get you on another show because that's another discussion as well. So we'll definitely chop that up properly. We'll do like a match preview together in the coming weeks. Because
definitely.
That is an ongoing debate. And I feel like me and you are going to be talking until like Sunday if we talk about contract talks. Because I'm so frustrated about it. I talk about it in every show. So I know you're going to be passionate about it as well. So we'll do that in due course. But the way that they run is, and I don't mean to be rude when I say it's cowboy operations. They just don't know what they're doing half of the time. When it comes to transfers, it's opportunistic kind of signings or, finding players based on data metrics and all that stuff because that's what they specialize in, isn't it? They're not football people. And the thing is, in America as well, when it comes to sports management, when they have different clubs and different sports, it's all about business. It's not really about accolades, all that stuff. As long as they're able to generate revenue through advertising, that's massive in America. That is that's all they care about. As long as they're getting their dollar, that's all they care about. So they're not really caring about, how many trophies has my club won. They're like, I got $1 billion from this season from doing this and that. That is their aim. That is their game at the end of the day. So for me, as fans, you always just have that slight glimmer of hope. You know what? Maybe this season will be different because look at Liverpool right now. We're on the rise right now. We're on top of our game. We haven't even hit the levels that Arne Slot probably expects from the team because we're still getting used to his tactics and his philosophy. You're thinking, surely the owners might, feel like maybe if we can sign a midfielder or a defender, our fortunes could change and we can go for the lot. I'm not saying we're going to get the quad, but we can really compete and try and win as many trophies as possible. But our track record tells us that is not going to happen. So as a fan and as a content creator, I'm always going to have that little glimmer that maybe something will happen in January. But truly, deep down, I know, I doubt it. And I always say on my shows that I would love to say we're going to sign this player and that player, but it's not realistic. And regardless of how successful we are this season, there is no guarantee next summer that we're going to acquire more players. It's going to go back to our old philosophy, sell to buy. People don't like when I say that, but it could revert back to that methods because that's what worked in Michael Edwards' heyday when we were getting all those players. It was through that kind of philosophy. So look how we were doing business in the summer. We were selling these fringe players, Carvalho, Vandenberg, for like 30 million each. What they're doing now? Fabio Carvalho's dad, he's on social media saying to his club, to his son, get out of this club. His dad's messaging online to tell his son to get out of the club. So, that hasn't worked out for him. So we've got the better end of the deal where we got the money. But all we did was sign Chiesa. But Chiesa was an opportunistic signing because he was a very top-level player who's had issues with injuries recently, and he might not have been highly sought after due to having an injury record.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's sensational. He's on form. He's probably one of the best wingers in world football. So, look, I think
we should have kept. I think we should have kept those two players at the day, Seth Vandenberg, and Fabio Carvalho. I think we should have kept them
for squad.
I think that's what, exactly. Do you know what I mean? And the reason why, I reckon the reason why his dad told Carvalho to get out of the club and everything, because he saw his son getting disrespected.
Yeah,
He
Facts.
saw his son getting disrespected and that, right?
Mm.
And he saw his son trying to sort of like fight for his place at the name, right? But he's getting disrespected. So if I was his old man, I'd say, "Nah, get out of there, man. Get out of there. Don't make them style you up, but that. Get out of there." I would tell him the
Yeah.
same thing. Do you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But like, they picked up 25 million, rising to 30 for these two players at the name, right? Two players, yeah, right. And we have not seen anything. All we've seen at the day is Chiesa. Now, if you think of the Chiesa transfer, yeah,
Yeah.
that Chiesa transfer was not hard. Me and you could
No,
have done that
no, it wasn't.
because they was practically pushing Chiesa out the door.
Yeah.
This is a guy at the day, right, that they rated 3 seasons ago, yeah, right? When people was looking at him, this is a guy at the day that was going for no less than 100 million. What's changed in 3 years?
Yeah.
That you're literally pushing the man at the club for
Mm.
10 million and they rising
Yeah.
what to 12. Do you know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
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 Do you know what I mean?
Peanuts.
Yeah, that's music to the FSG's ears. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's music to the ears to get like some of that. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that deal there was not hard. But then when you look at sort of like Varela, yeah, and you look at FC Porto offered Liverpool Varela for 80 million
Yeah.
and they didn't buy him. Do you know what I mean? Because that's too hard for them. That's too hard for them
No,
to do. Imagine a day, yeah. Imagine a day, Varela, yeah, and McAllister in midfield.
I
Two
know.
RGs in midfield.
Yeah, I know.
That would have been a madness, blood.
That's the
No,
player I wanted in the summer as well. Martin Varela.
listen. And then you got like mans like Ryan Gravenworth for the little
Yeah,
sauce on top. Little
telling you.
sauce on top, sprinkle
Yeah.
on top, man. He put
Thing
some
is, they can
sauce on
all
top.
alternate as well. Like if Mac wants to play 10,
Stop
he
it.
can play. Gavin could, like they can swap around. Listen,
Stop it. Stop it.
that's what I'm
Because
saying.
Rela's a no nonsense. Rela, sorry to go see.
Oh,
Rela is a no nonsense DM, you know.
he is.
He's
That's
a,
what
he's,
we're missing in our team. That's what we're missing. We need it. He's I'm telling you, I'm gonna go a bit over top here, but he's Mascherano regen. I'm telling you,
listen,
that
man.
kind of level, you know. I'm telling you.
Listen, hold on, listen. Do you remember the days of Mascherano?
Yeah.
Listen, Mascherano came to Liverpool on loan, yeah?
Yeah.
And Benitez took him in a room and he put some obstacles out, yeah,
Yeah.
on the table. He said, "This is how I see you playing." And he
Yeah.
moved the obstacles around for that. Mascherano said, "You know what? I'm on that. Yeah, I'm on that. Yeah, make it happen. Yeah, make it happen. Yeah." And he sort of like went on loan and then we bought him for 18 million in the end. Yeah, right. But if you notice at the day, sort of like when Benitez left, he just wasn't interested
Yeah,
anymore.
it wasn't. Yeah, you're
He
right.
wasn't interested anymore. He wasn't
It
interested
was.
anymore. Right.
Yeah.
But Mascherano, right? Make no mistake here.
Quality.
Mascherano was probably one of the best midfielders in Europe at one time.
Oh,
Yeah.
facts. Facts.
Yeah. And
Even when
it's
he went to West Ham, he was still regarded one of the best in the world
oh
because
yeah.
he just came from an amazing World Cup. Like he really
Yeah.
showed in the World Cup before he went to West Ham. So that's why everyone's surprised. How on earth did West Ham get Tevez and Mascherano because they were so good at Argentina in the
Yeah,
national
that was
team?
a bit
They were
dodgy.
really
It was
good.
a dodgy. That was dodgy though. That
Oh,
was a
that
bit dodgy with it. It was a bit dodgy because they looked into that. And it was a bit dodgy. That's why at the end of the day they had to let them off in it. They had to
they
just
had to.
go.
They had
They had
to.
to put them out alone in the other clubs and this and that. You know what I mean? You know, but like the things about it, you know, do you know what I mean? It's like I would be more upset and day in losing the league, knowing at the day that if we got like one, maybe two players in, we could have won it,
I
than
agree.
actually getting beaten outright to the league.
Because I
And
think
I
quality
think,
wise, we stand head to head against anyone in this league. It's just
yeah,
I don't think we have the squad depth because
no,
when one
no,
or
we
two
don't.
players are injured, because let's be honest, like me and you both mentioned earlier on, Endo should have taken part in that game against Newcastle.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
But he's definitely not Arnold's cup of tea. He just doesn't rate him at all. He's only bringing him on for like 5-10 minute cameos, and that is practically it. So when you don't rate a player and you don't really regard him as an option, he needs to leave the club, and then we need to reinforce and sign a replacement. Obviously, an upgrade as well. It can't just be like for like. It has to be an upgrade. So that can favour the team going forward. But that's a logical thing. I don't think FSG work logically sometimes. That's
I think you will leave. I think Endo and Gomez leaves in summer. Do you know what I mean? I think they're both.
Yeah.
I think
I wouldn't want him to leave, but I would understand his reasons for leaving because I do feel like he needs to play first team football elsewhere. But
yeah, and you got to think about it as well, right? If the same situations still happens at the end of the day with Elliot, don't rule out him leaving either, you know.
Yeah,
because he's gonna get fed up and say, look, at the end of the day, right? When Klopp was there at the end of the day, right, I was playing regular football,
playing a lot of games.
regular football for that. Now and then, day, for that, right, I'll be lucky to get 2 fucking minutes. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he didn't come on the other day, you know. Again,
hardly play,
and he's fit. He did not come on that sort of like Newcastle game.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm not being funny in the day, right? He's gonna think after all. Remember the day, this is a man like Elliot. This is a man that went to Real Madrid and like Real Madrid wanted him. He went to the Real Madrid tour. They showed him around the club and this and that, right? And he said, "Nah, I want to go to Liverpool."
Yeah.
This is the guy. This is the guy that himself, and his dad support Liverpool.
Yeah.
But that support only goes so far, but right? Then you think to yourself, well, look, and then I'm not being funny. This is a club I love. I love this coming for that. But you know what? I love football. I need to play football.
He has
Do you
to
know
think
what I mean?
about his career. It's a fact. You have to think about your own career.
He's young as well.
Yeah, he's very young. So
he's young as well. That's what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I mean? And then we know what FSG's like. We know they're money hungry. Yeah. So what they were doing, I think that right, they would literally just cash in on him. They're literally just cash in on him.
I hope that's not the case. I
hope not either. But the fact of the day, right, we can't be treating players like. You see what it is at the day when you're a head coach at it, right? They ain't no time for sentimentalities. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's been a bit sentimental with some of the Dutch players. Yeah. Right. Because obviously he's Dutch himself. Right.
Yeah.
He's been a bit sentimental. Like obviously people like Ryan Granbirch is always going to get a game. Gappo literally always gets a game, whether it's coming off the bench or if he's starting, he gets a game. Virgil van Dijk is always going to get a game because he's the captain. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So then at the end of the day, right, he doesn't leave much room to bring in a sort of like a Endo or a Elliot. Do you know what I mean? Or Gomez or something like that. Because we all know that when Konate gets fit, Gomez is going to be on the fringe again. It's going to be the fringe again, not outside looking in, right? And he's going to think, well, he's going to think himself. He goes like, "Yo, big man thing, yeah." You know, so when Klopp was here and everything, this didn't happen.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not with that. You know, I'm not with that.
I do think Arsenal needs to rotate a little bit more. I do feel like he doesn't do it enough. And during games where you're allowed 5 subs now, so why not utilize that? And I don't think he does that enough.
No, he doesn't.
Because there will be certain games where I feel like Harvey Elliott fits the mold in terms of you need someone coming in to break the lines and thread those final through balls. Because there's let's be honest, whoever plays against Liverpool right now, they're going to apply that low block. So we need a player like Harvey Elliott who's clever, intricate on the ball, and can thread through balls and just break up a defense. We need that player, even if it's starting in the lineup or from the bench. He needs to be active. He needs to be in and out of games. And unfortunately, he's not getting. Maybe because of the injury, I don't know. Remains to be seen. But I do feel like he needs a bit more game.
He's fit because you think about it, I can see what Everton's going to play tomorrow. They're going to play 4-4-2. 4-4-2, low block, and try and frustrate Liverpool as much as they can. Because what they're going to do is this, They're going to say, like, if we can't win, we're not going to lose. That's what it's going to be. We can't win, we're not going to lose in the day, right? And I'm not being funny in the day, right? This is that tomorrow, if they do employ that low block, that's not going to be the first time we play the low block,
No.
We've been playing low blocks at the day since Gerald Hula days, And to me, at the end of the day, right, we should have sussed out how to break down a low block. I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? And one of the ways that you don't break down a low block is the slow passing. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to
The
pick it.
only way to break down low block, your passes have got to be fast. They've got to be fast.
Yeah,
Bang, 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 bang. Before you know it, you're in the area.
yeah,
Yeah, and you're making moves in the area, and they're making mistakes and bringing you down. Penalty.
correct.
You understand what
Yeah,
I'm saying? You know, but
the
but
Newcastle
that's
game, we had no tempo whatsoever. We had no speed in our play whatsoever. That was like watching paint dry. It was so bad,
it
and
was horrible.
that is the thing against these teams. You have to be creative. You have to be imaginative. You got to think outside the box in terms of how am I going to break this team down. We're very predictable in our passing, where it's just pass it to Gakpo. Gakpo does the same old run on the left hand side, but doesn't really get anything in the end of it. So for me, we have to really switch it up against Everton. Now, in terms of the game, what's your prediction? What scoreline are you going for?
Uh, right, right. To be honest, right. Let me give you two things. Yeah.
Hmm.
Let me give you two things. Right. First, I'm going to give you a lineup. Right. Or what this
Okay.
lineup, what the lineup should be. Right. Obviously, 4-2-3-1. Right. Kelleher's going to be in goal because of the fact that Dave Allison's not back yet.
Alisson, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right back, it's got to be Trent. Yeah.
yes,
Gomez is going to have to play centre back. He's going to have to play centre back again, yeah, because obviously Canate issues
we
and
don't have options. Yeah,
blah blah. And I'll rather more or less trust Gomez than what I trust Kwanzaa, right?
agreed.
So Gomez in there along Virgil van Dijk, and then Robertson at the day as left back because Costas is still injured, yeah,
He's injured. Yeah,
right. The two in midfield, you can't put McAllister in there because he's suspended, yeah. So then and then you change that for Jones, yeah, right.
yeah.
Ryan Gravenberch needs to get a rest, right? So he comes out and Endo comes in, right? On your right hand side of the attack, you're gonna have Mo Salah, obviously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sabozlai will pay the 10 because he's been playing well as of late. Yeah. On the left hand side, you're gonna have Cody Gappo, and then the false nine is gonna be Luis Diaz. Yeah. If you play that team, yeah, Liverpool should beat Everton 2-0.
Hmm.
You play that team beating 2-0. The only way to break down a low block is to play with a false nine because they
Yeah,
don't know where to pick him up.
yeah.
Because he'd
Because
be
I'm
here, yeah, he's unpredictable. He's gonna be here, there, and everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
If you're gonna play that out and out striker, well, then you have problems at the end of the day because you just get picked up all the time. Do you know what I'm saying?
You need more support for that striker. The number 10 needs to be more further up rather than
Yeah,
covering grounds and being him in a deeper position. So
yeah,
yeah, he needs to
yeah.
play like a second striker almost, isn't it? So
Yeah, exactly. So you play that if you play that formation and with those players and then obviously gonna have people like Chiesa's on the bench,
yeah,
Edit's gonna be on the bench, and Darwin Nunes gonna be on the bench. Your bench is looking a little bit more stronger, you
yeah,
know what I mean, than obviously than before. You have to play that formation and you have to play those players. I don't want to see Ryan Gravenberch start tomorrow. I'm
mm,
sorry. I can't see that. If Ryan Gravenberch starts, because I've got I won't be able to watch the game. I'll probably be able to watch a bit on my phone because I've
yeah,
got assessment in the morning
yeah.
at Arsenal Football Club, like stewarding and all that. So I've got to go there. So I'll be leaving from there to go to work
Fine.
at Luton Town Football Club. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Yeah, to do stewarding down there. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, so what I could probably do is on the way up there, I'll probably watch it on my phone or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And stuff.
yeah,
But like so I want me to really catch the game. But I
mm,
do not at any point, if Ryan Gravenberch starts tomorrow, we're gonna be in trouble. And it's not because he's a rubbish player, because he's
no,
a
I
very
know.
good player. It's just the fact that he's fatigued. He's fatigued. And
Yeah,
you saw it the other day, and then they were against Newcastle. You saw the fatigue starting to set in. So
yeah,
he needs a rest. If he can get away with not playing Ryan Gravenberch tomorrow
yeah,
completely, do that. Do you know what I mean? Or even if you let's say you're winning and everything that right, and you want to give him a run out, bring him on 5 minutes towards the end, something like that. Do you know what I mean? You
yeah,
get me? But he
mm,
should not be playing 45 minutes. Do you know what I mean? He should not be playing anything over 10 minutes. I'm sorry. He's
yeah.
knackered. He's
I'll be honest with
knackered.
you. I have a feeling he will start. That's just my.
Yeah,
I did it in the match preview as well, and the only reason why I presented Gravenberch to start, and I did say he looked knackered as well, but only because I'm looking at the fixtures ahead. So this Everton game for me is quite important. Obviously, because we dropped points against Newcastle. Obviously, it's a Merseyside derby, so there's a bit more value in terms of getting that win, in terms of having an upper hand on your rivals. But then we've got Girona on Tuesday, I think it is.
yeah, it's Tuesday, isn't it?
Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah. So that's a quick
Yeah.
game that's coming up. So I'm expecting the team to be rotated quite heavily for that fixture because we've got 15 points on the board. We don't really need to go with the strongest lineup. So I think that will be the fixture where you see your Endos and Mortons and all that type of players playing those fixtures. So I'm thinking, even though Gravenberch looks tired, just push him for this one. Even if he plays like an hour, for example, they bring Endo on for like
It could be a bit risky though. It could be a bit risky.
It is risky. Don't get me wrong, but I'm looking at in terms of Arne Slot's faith in Endo, and he doesn't have any whatsoever.
Yeah,
I think he'd rather go for a Gravenberch who's half fit rather than a fully fit Endo. That is just how I see it.
I don't understand why you don't like him.
I don't know. I think in terms of his playing ability, I think he just lacks that sort of cohesion in terms of passing range. He doesn't have he's very simple in terms of how he passes the ball, but I don't think he offers much going forward in terms of the forward passes, like to open up the midfield and all that sort of stuff. So I just don't feel like he's his type of profile of player. That's why we were going for a OZWRLD in the summer. So whether or not that happens remains to be seen. That's probably another topic for another conversation. But Uncle Roz, thank you as always. Big up yourself. Thank you for coming on the channel. We'll definitely.
It's my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Every time I come on your channel, we always get into some good talks and that. So
definitely, man.
Listen, don't even mention it. It's my pleasure to come on your channel. Do you know what I mean? It's my pleasure.
I was thinking of messaging you this weekend to line up another show. So I'll be in touch with you. We'll do a match preview. We've got some big games coming up soon, so hopefully we can talk about that fixture. But with Liverpool, there's always outside noise that we can talk about as well. So there's never a quiet day when it comes to Liverpool. So we'll have a proper discussion, have a proper dedicated show, and I'll get you.
Shout me. Shout me whenever you're ready, man. Ready, man. I'm always here to sort of chop it up and that. So it's like more time. I'm just doing what you're doing, like content creating or working at. So man, shout me when you're ready, bro. Yeah.
I will do, man. Thank you for your time as always, and hopefully, hopefully we get the win tomorrow. Yeah, big up yourself.
Yeah, I hope so. We get the win and everything that. But either way, have a good weekend, you and your family.
You too, man.
Big up.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. And that's Uncle Roz there. Big up to Uncle Roz for coming on the show. Appreciate his time as always, and please make sure you subscribe to his channel. Great content in terms of Liverpool reactions and match preview, all that stuff. And he's a good friend to the channel as well. So please support Uncle Roz and subscribe to his channel. He's on his road to 3K followers. So please make sure you do that. And yes, that is the end of the show tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Thank you to Uncle Roz, as always, for coming on the show. Big up to Daz for the comment earlier on. If you haven't already and you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. In terms of upcoming content, I will be doing a live watch along. I was going to say tomorrow, but it's later on today. So later on today, at around 12:20 p.m., I'll be doing a live watch along, and then I'll probably do a match reaction straight after the game. So the game will probably end around 2:30. I'll probably be live from around 3:30-ish, so that sort of time. So what I'll do, I'll confirm the timings tomorrow, and then we can have a match reaction. And it's also a calling show, so if you'd like to come on, just like Uncle Roz did earlier on, and you want to come on and have your say, a link will be pinned in the live chat. So so that is the schedule for this week, and then we'll go back to the beginning of the week with another Premier League review show. So stay tuned, lots of content coming your way. So that is it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to speak to you all tomorrow. Goodbye.